Hey, what's up guys, Tony here, and I'm not quite sure what I'm showing you right now because I'm recording this before I have any sort of gameplay to put up in front of it. And that's because I've been really busy as of late, and I want to just kind of do sort of an update because I was looking at my YouTube channel and I realized that it's been a couple weeks since I made a video, and I'm pretty sure going forward my video making is going to be kind of sporadic, just because you'll understand here in a minute. So first things first, this would have been the week 1 of season 4, the GRA Sim League race, but for some weird reason I've been having some power fluctuations, and so I actually thought it was like the storm that we had on Tuesday, but it seems to be, well, I should go back. I've been having weird power fluctuations for weeks now, and like lights will flicker sometimes, and just weird things have been kind of going on. But this is not the first time it's happened. It's happened before, so it's just sort of this intermittent sort of fluctuations that we get at this house. But for whatever reason, for the last several weeks, that it's gotten worse. And I figured it was because it was the heat wave that we had. A lot of, it was sort of on the grid, people running air conditioning, and I just kind of figured that was a part of it. But when it started to, when it was happening during the storm, I was like, well, maybe it's the storm too. The storm could be causing some sort of problem. I don't know. So Tuesday, I was trying to work on my thesis, and what happened is that my computer would just like, boom, shut off. And then my TV would like turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off. It was so obnoxious because I'm sitting here and I'm trying to turn the damn thing off to keep it off, but the TV was like clicking. It was like, it was really, I can't do the sound properly. But anyways, so I'm gonna have these weird power fluctuations. And then so Tuesday, a big storm, and then by Tuesday mid-afternoon, it subsided. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get some racing in. I can't wait. I did some Donnington practice the night before, started building a setup. And I jump into the practice session, and I'm on TeamSpeak, and I'm hanging out with a band of others guys. And then all of a sudden, I tell them the story, like I might lose power. I'm not entirely sure. About maybe 5 minutes into the practice, it's like, boop, power goes out. Like, son of a bitch. So I missed the race. So my GRA Sim week 1 of season 4, yeah, it's not here because I didn't get to race it. Damn it, kind of pissed off about that. So more than likely you're watching some Rocket League, because I have a ton of Rocket League games saved. They're not good because I'm not very good at Rocket League. I'm learning, but I'm not all that good. So it might be a Rocket League kind of day. So anyways, I want to give you an update. So the last video that I made, it was basically a week after we dropped my grandmother off at the care facility. So in that time, we've had to pull back because what happened is after we visited, she was like, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home. And then she got a little ornery, and I guess she tried to hit one of the caregivers at the care facility. And anyways, it was just, what my uncle's friend, who's a director of a care facility, said, you need to give them at least 2 weeks. Leave them alone for 2 weeks, let them adjust. And when I got thinking about it in retrospect, and I sent this sort of a long text message to my family, I figured that what happened is that we dropped her off on a Thursday. My uncle was there that Saturday, the following Tuesday, and then my parents and I were there that next day, the Wednesday. So she didn't really know who we were, but she recognized us as people that could take her home. And so I think she just had too many visitations. She needed to just sort of get in there, get into her own routine. And then the other thing that was happening is that she was refusing to shower, which is not really that big of a deal. I mean, it is a big deal. She needs to shower because she can develop rashes and things of that nature. But it's not out of the ordinary, is what I meant to say. Is she refused to take a shower here. I couldn't get her to take a shower most of the time. And it took a lot. It usually took more often than not, it took about a half hour of just like constantly bugging her to get in the shower. And I think she got into the shower just so I would shut up. And I think that's what it really amounted to. So she refused to take a shower. She started to refuse to take her medication again, which is not out of the ordinary for her, because that's just what she was doing here. What ended up happening is that my uncle was sending a mass text message to myself, my mom, and my aunt, and I was telling him basically, it's like, hey, look, you need to give her time, because he wanted one of us to like rush in and give my grandmother a shower or talk her into it. And I'm like, why are we paying these people $6,000 a month if every time there's a problem we have to run in and fix it? Like, they're the professionals, they should be fixing these problems. That's their job. That's what we're paying them for. We're paying them to care for her. Otherwise, why are we paying her? We could have the same fight in this house and not spend $6,000 a month. So that was my stance. My other stance was that also we need to give her time. She needs to sort of have her break-in period. We haven't done that. You visited we collectively have visited 3 times in 8 days. So we need to give her a full 14 days of no family and get used to it. I got really frustrated because that's what I said, and it was promptly ignored. My uncle, he's an engineer, and he was attacking this problem as an engineer. So here's a problem with a definite solution. And so his solution was that we have to go down there and we have to rush and rescue this care facility and do their job for them, which it was, you know, unsolicited help. They didn't ask us for help, but basically the care facility's director would just call him and say, hey, I just want to let you know your grandmother's not taking her medication, or your mother, you know, I just want to let you know that your mother's not showering. And he took that as like emergency mode, we need to spring into action, not, hey, I'm just giving you a heads up, here's what's going on. So he was basically just trying to do their job, and he's very micromanaging in that regard, and it's really obnoxious. So he was attacking it like an engineer, like I said. And so I said, look, you know, after sending a number of text messages back and forth, I just told him, look, if you're not going to listen to me, then don't include me in these conversations. You know, I am the expert on grandma. I have lived with her for 7.5 years. I have the most experience dealing with her, and I know how to deal with her. So I told him, I feel like the kid at the adults table, you know, where I'm talking and no one's listening. And so he finally actually capitulated after that and said, okay, well, we'll do it your way. Even though my way wasn't fully realized, because my mom went down last week, I guess, to go give my grandmother a shower. Now, there were some other circumstances that I think allowed for that to happen, because they called her doctor and they were able to get authorization to, one, give her Tylenol, because I guess she was having some problems with her arthritis, and then she was sitting in a wheelchair for a while, for like a day or so. So they needed to give her they need authorization to give her Tylenol, which is strange, but I mean, that's what they need to do. The other thing is that they need authorization to crush her pills and put it in her food. So she's no longer taking pills, you know, like she would take a pill. They're just putting it in her food, and so she doesn't know that she's taking the pills. And one of them, it really is very, very, very important, is this, it's her calming pill. It's a sundowning pill. I don't remember the name of the pill, what it is, but it basically, it just makes her less aggravated. And so they needed to get that into her system. And so from what I understand, this last week or so, she's really calmed down, and she's been a lot better. And I haven't seen her in a couple weeks. Like I said, okay, I'm not going to see her for another few weeks. Now I had to go to the care facility to drop off some new prescription medications for her at the nursing station. So I was tempted to go see her, but at the same time, it hadn't been 2 weeks, and I didn't want to break that, you know, that standard that I set. It's like, we need to give her 2 weeks, no family, and then let's try it out and see how this goes. So from my grandma's standpoint, that's really what's been going on. She seems to be settling in finally. The house, I have been busy the last few weeks tearing this house apart. I cleaned out her room, I cleaned out her bathroom, I've cleaned out the hall closets, I've cleaned out almost everything that's not mine has been cleaned out. The kitchen's been cleaned out. You know, like I said, the areas that I'm using haven't been cleaned out yet, and that'll actually have to happen really quickly, to be honest with you. So we're having an estate sale on Saturday, and hopefully we'll sell a lot of this stuff. We shouldn't really have that much. I mean, she's got some larger furniture, some couches, you know, tables, things of that nature, but a lot of it's just really small little knickknacks, glassware, these random, they're like orange, yellow glass or whatever, amber glass, that's what it is. And just a lot of just small little knickknacks that hopefully paintings and things of that nature we can get rid of. But the vast majority of it, you know, the family came in and they took what they wanted, and which wasn't a lot. You'd be surprised, but it wasn't really a lot. So they took what they wanted and they left, and that's what we wanted. We just wanted the family to come in and take as much as they wanted and move on. So so we have the estate sale on Saturday, and hopefully that gets a lot of stuff out of here, because that's really the main concern. Because my uncle, who is on vacation right now, he's been on vacation since the 8th. So he's been gone almost 10 days, and he's due back next Tuesday. He wants to start renovating the house in October. And so obviously you need to renovate the house needs to be empty. So I'm trying to get the house empty. The other thing is that I have been trying since, I would say, the beginning, middle, yeah, I guess it would be about the beginning of August, to find a job. And I might have mentioned this in a previous video. And after weeks and weeks of searching, I actually finally landed a job. I have been tweeting about it. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. I've been talking about it a lot. And so I finally landed a job. I start on Monday. So today is, what did I say, Thursday? So start in a few days. So I'm quite excited to get started. But the thing is, though, is like the job. Okay, so the job is I'm working at an apartment complex. It's a property management job, and I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be. You know, I've got an idea. It's just quote unquote general manager general manager, assistant manager, which I'm finding out is the lowest rung on this little totem pole. So it would be like assistant manager, business manager, community manager. I think the maintenance manager is somewhere above me as well. So I'm like, I'm the lowest on the totem pole with any sort of managerial title. But the benefit is, though, is that I get a free place to live, because they need somebody to live at the complex, be there just in case anything happens. And so I'm the on-site person, and so I get a free 2-bedroom apartment, which is great because I get to have my own man cave. It's like, yes, this is gonna be awesome. But I'll live on site, and so the work schedule, though, that's what's really going to be kind of hard on me as far as video making is concerned, because the work day is a 9 to 6, and so right now the official races, the V8 Supercar official races, go official at 7:15. But when the time changes, we fall back. It'll be 6:15, and so I'm getting off work at 6 o'clock, and that means like I have to run to my apartment, which is just like down the block, or you know, just around the corner, which is not that big of a deal. I'm gonna be able to make it in plenty of time. It's just that it's gonna be close, and I won't have any sort of warm up. I usually require like an hour of warm up. So who knows, maybe on my lunch breaks I'll come home and practice for like a half hour. And the only other thing I thought about is that they're a little flexible with the scheduling. So like maybe I could come in like a half hour early, or take a half hour lunch and get out like at 5:30, and that's kind of my plan. I think for Thursday, Fridays, I might do that. Well, actually, I'll get Thursdays off. I take that back. I get Thursdays off for school, so I don't work. Sundays off is closed, and I get an extra day off, obviously, until Thursdays. So Thursday, Sundays are gonna be my days off. So Thursdays are gonna be great when I don't have class. Then I'm gonna race. That sounds so bad. I feel like such a bad student right now. So that's the job situation. So I was able to land a job. Really super excited about that. Kind of excited because it feels like the first sort of real adult job that I've had. I mean, I've worked full time before. It's not really, you know, this is nothing new to me. But it just feels like finally sort of a step in the adult direction. And lastly, I have been working a lot on getting my thesis proposal put through my committee, and so if you've been around since last semester, you'll know that I've been working on it since last semester. And last semester, actually, week 5 last semester, I submitted my very first project proposal, and within a couple weeks, it got turned around, and quickly decided that really what I'd proposed initially, it just wasn't going to work. And so I changed my topics. Essentially, they were still video games, but I changed my focus. And so I decided to focus on the 1983-1984 video game crash in North America. And so I spent the remainder of the semester researching, and I got a second proposal written by the end of the semester, and I gave it to the professor, my chair, in the last week of semester. And so it took him the better part of a month to finally get around to it. But I mean, he's busy. He got a promotion, so to speak, within the university, and so it took him a while to get back to me. And then we exchanged emails and drafts and revisions, and then I sent him sort of an outline. And then by the end of the semester, by the end of the summer, I had a third proposal submitted to him. And then now I've gone and I've sort of rewritten a big, large chunk of the proposal, and I've been working on that for the last, I'd say, week or so. And so last night, I got an email from him saying, okay, here's some changes I think you should make. When you've made those changes, I think you're ready to send it to your committee, which is great, because basically the process goes is that you write your proposal. Once it gets approved by your chair, it's essentially to the point where you can quote unquote defend it, but you have your proposal meeting where you meet with your chair and your two other committee members, and they tell you, okay, cool, we like this, we think you're heading in the right direction, so go do it. Or they'll say, here, I've got some things I think you need to read, or here's another direction I think you should take. And so then it becomes a battle of the committee members to decide your fate, basically, whether or not you're going to do what you proposed, which like 99% of the time, it's not that, it's something else. So that's the plan, and hopefully within a few weeks I can defend my proposal. Not really defend it, it's not a defense, but I can have a proposal meeting, and I can advance to candidacy. So right now that's really the only hurdle I have, is getting to candidacy so I can work on my thesis, so I can get done. And we have a very small department, so I've known that for a while. I mean, it's not a huge department, but last Thursday my professor was telling me that, he goes, you know, I was talking to him about when I want to graduate, and he's trying to propose a new avenue for graduation. So instead of writing a thesis, he wants to propose this a portfolio option where you have these 3 things that you do, like build a website, TA, and then your sort of a digital micro thesis, or an article is what he's calling it. And so he explained that to us, and I sent him the email that I sent him a couple weeks ago. I said, you know, I'm very interested in doing this. You know, I'm a terminal master's. I'm not looking for a PhD, so I'm not really looking to write a full thesis. And so he got back to me and said, well, it's not going to be ready until next fall. And I told him like last week. So when I saw him next, I said, that's perfect for me, because I'm looking to graduate either next fall or spring of 2017. That's just sort of the timeline that I'm giving to myself. And through the course of the conversation, we were sort of going back and forth about how to structure the thesis, and just sort of what I've been researching, and just sort of brainstorming. And then so finally he said, yeah, I think we can have you done by spring. And I said, okay, well, I said, you know, I'm using that as my backup. You know, fall 16, spring 17 for sure. That's my drop dead, because that's when my financial aid will, for all intents and purposes, be over. And he's like, no, spring of 16, like next semester. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? He goes, no, I think you could do it. You know, if you know, let's do this as a digital thesis. You know, I understand that you've got some things going on with your family and your situation has changed, so I want to get you out of here, you know, as soon as possible. And so he's the committee chair for my committee chair. He's also the graduate coordinator for this next year. So he's in a very good position to make that a reality. And so, I'm just sort of, I'm excited. I'm really excited, because like to be done in a semester. I mean, my whole plan was to be done in 3 years. I mean, I'm doing this part-time. So 3 years is what it would, you know, what it should take going part-time. You know, otherwise I would take me two years to finish this. Although most people don't finish our program in 2 years. Like I think maybe like 2 people have in the entire program, and that's just because, like, it's hard to say, is, you know, but it's just like our department has really high standards. I think not unrealistically high, but they do have really high standards, which is good. We get done. We're a better student because of it, or a better historian because of it. But I think most of them are taking this to a level where you're like, okay, this is a small state school master program. Now, I don't think you should water down the requirements or water down the quality of the education, but I think there should be a realization that, yeah, you know, maybe we're a little too fine with the little things that we're going to focus on. So I witnessed that firsthand with a friend of mine, and so it was just kind of like, this is frustrating. I don't want to go through this. That's why I'm giving myself a whole extra year. So anyways, that's what's been going on with me as of late. You know, the grandma situation it's changed, obviously, and hopefully she settles in nicely. And I'm, you know, it's weird to think of myself as starting a new life, because that's essentially what I'm going to be doing. I actually want to see if I can get Melanie to sit down and record a commentary with me. Maybe I could, you know what I should do? I should see if I can do that with her. That'd be great. I want to get her perspective on what it's been like for her living, or not living with me, but with her living with, I guess, me as her boyfriend, and the things that I've been dealing with in the last, you know, year that I've known her, and just to kind of get her impression on it. That might be a really interesting conversation. So if you're interested in hearing that, let me know. I'll approach her about that, but I think that would be an interesting conversation to have. So anyways, guys, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll talk to you guys later.